Hi there, my name is Ayeasha. Thank you so much for having me here today. I am a organiser of Charity So White. We are a group of volunteer activists fighting to root out institutional racism that exists and operates within the charity sector. And I thought I'd spend this time today talking to you a little bit about what we do, how we were founded, and why our work is so essential both for people of colour working in or maybe thinking about joining the charity sector, and also for our society more widely and the communities that the sector seeks to work with. So people are often quite surprised to hear about the racism that exists within the charity sector. It's often thought to be a bit of a beacon of liberalism, kind of leading the way in tackling social issues like inequalities. And those that tend to enter and work within the sector also see themselves as quite moral and progressive individuals. This produces or creates quite a dangerous underlying assumption that because the sector is seeking to do good, that it is perfect, which it by no means is. So charity work in the UK carries with it a continuation of colonialist approaches. Help is offered to those communities believed or deemed to be devoid of any agency or of finding and creating solutions themselves. And the makeup of the charity sector to this day continues to support that kind of white saviour narrative. So 1 in 10 voluntary sector employees are from Black and minority ethnic backgrounds. That compares with 14% of the UK population, which is Black and minority ethnic, and interestingly compares with that of the public and private sector, which both have around 11% of their employees Black and minority ethnic backgrounds. That is by no means representative, but it does just show where the sector sits compared to other industries that are maybe more understood to operate and have institutionally racist operations. Similarly, the people of influence within the charity sector are predominantly white. So 92% of trustees on charity boards are white, and 95% of charity sector CEOs are white. And so what Charity So White have been doing is really calling on charities to develop meaningful opportunities for people of colour, to encourage the sector to be brave and to challenge the notions that it was founded upon, and to start to see the communities that it works with as equal partners, as opposed to weak and in need of that help. So we were founded and started through a Twitter conversation which went viral in August of 2019. So on the first day, we received over 3,000 tweets to our hashtag Charity So White of people sharing their experiences of racism within the charity sector. And a couple that have really stuck with me is one person tweeted and said that they were once told by a senior member of staff that Black people prefer to be in subordinate positions and they're happier in subordinate positions. And another one went to a criminal justice social networking event, and every Black person was asked when they left prison. So the assumption that we're criminals before we are employees. And clearly, from the 3,000 tweets on that first day and the number that came through for the rest of the week, it showed that there was a problem. It showed that people had a lot to say, but that there was no place for people of colour to feel empowered to say it. And since then, we've been committed to building up the power of people of colour in the sector, to demand our seat at the table, to work with leaders to have really honest, open and transformational conversations about racism, how it operates in their organisations and what they can do to tackle it. The other side of this is that racism within the charity sector adversely affects the communities that it seeks to serve, particularly communities of colour. So many charities are delivering programmes that maintain the power structures and the structures of privilege that exists in our society, rather than striving to dismantle it. And that's really problematic. And that's the change that we're really fighting for. We are all employees working in or around the charity sector, so we love it. We think it has so much potential, but we believe that it needs to do a lot better if it really wants to make the change that it claims to be striving for. We want to see people of colour join the sector, progress within it, exist in all levels of it, and continue to contribute the knowledge that we have. But until we really dismantle the power dynamics that currently exists within the sector, we're not going to see that diversity of knowledge, voice, lived experience that's really needed to make the impact in society that we need to see to create social change. And since we were founded, we have had CEOs acknowledge that their organisations are institutionally racist. We have led a series of events for people of colour to kind of network, strategise, mobilise together across different organisations. We've also produced a report in response to coronavirus, which back in March, which predicted and detailed the disproportionate impact that coronavirus was going to have on BAME communities, and have been campaigning since to make sure that the funds that the charity sector receives to support those affected by coronavirus, that a percentage of those are distributed to BAME communities. We've got a long way to go. Like all campaigning, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And we're excited as the next generation kind of join the sector with that fire in their belly, with that, activist background, and can join us in our work to change the power dynamics, to root out institutional racism in the sector, and ultimately support our society for the better. So if you are thinking of joining the charity sector, you can follow us on Twitter, Charity So White. We have so much going on at the end of summer. We have lots planned to continue to empower, mobilise people of colour within the sector. And we look forward to you joining us. Thanks so much for having me.